Hi, folks. My name is Girish, the host for Back to Basics, another Back to Basics for another week. Today, we're going to talk about real estate. Now, real estate we talked about last year with our guest of mine from season one, but we talked about from the year 2021, right after COVID and during COVID time. Today, we are almost to the cups of almost done with the COVID virus, and well, we're still kind of going through it around the world. But what is the reaction right now when it comes to real estate in today's time? Now, if you guys have want to compare between this episode and last year's episode, listen to the other episode, and I'll put that in the description for the same guest that we have today. An amazing person. I've met him many times. We are friends, even offline, and we're going to be friends for the longest time. But he's here as an expert, an amazing person, a real estate guy, and his name is Ofir. So, Ofir, how are you? And thanks for coming to Back to Basics.
Thank you, Girish. Pleasure to see you again, my friend, and pleasure to be on your popular program.
Yeah. Thank you again, Ofir. So before we get into that, and I think you have answered this question before on season one, but compared to season one and compared to season two, what does Back to Basic mean to you?
Back to Basic is another very important channel to the public who listen to you, Girish, and learn from the topics that you're bringing on and from the people in the field, which is giving a very good vision about the reality and what's really happening. So most of the time people listen to news, but news have their own agenda somehow. And the real people who's in the field, local, I would put it very important, local, are a very big aspect on how things are looking and where we're heading and etc.
Yeah, thank you again, Ophir. But and thank you, and you're very kind of saying those words. But thank you again for saying that. So before we get started on the real estate, now, very quick question: is it a big difference, or are we still in the same situation from last year?
We are in a huge search for the local real estate in our area.
Hmm.
I will give you an example of an open house we had last week, a new listing that we put on the market last weekend, and we put it on the market to be for Saturday, Sunday open house. We have Saturday, Sunday, and Monday of showing. We had 170 families coming to see the house. 170 families for that particular listing. We received 35 offers, all great buyers, all of them above asking price and way more than the asking price. So that shows you the thriving market that we have in our area.
So basically, you're saying that it's way better than last year because last year I think we were still in that lockdown mode. So people are coming out and looking at the houses. Is that correct? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, very much. And we have a huge traffic that coming from New York that, with the new world of working, they change their, commute to work. So they say, let me get, a better environment for my family, a better space for my family. And that's what we're seeing here a lot.
Yeah. So thank you again, Ophir. So is it still the same situation from last year when you were mentioning about people moving from the north to the south, from the city to the suburban area? Or has that dynamics kind of changed a little?
No, very much the same. And more importantly, it changed the whole rule of real estate that as we used to know, we used to have like seasons. There's no seasons anymore. We're talking about winter market. I mean, we were not technically in the spring. The market is absolutely thriving, and even more than last year, I would say, because more families realize that whatever happens, and all the geopolitical things that happen in the world, my home is my castle, my home is my safety. So that that really makes a lot of difference when you see a lot of people coming our way.
Yeah, so thank you again for that. So now with the offers that we get, are we still overpricing what we did last year, or has that changed a little?
It's actually more than last year.
Hmm.
The reason is that there is no much of an inventory. That creating a pressure to bid on houses higher than what we are putting them on the market. And these people are coming with the new ideas, which is very good for the sellers in this point. And we representing, the sellers in this case, in my, example that I gave you from last week. And therefore we could get them way more than the asking price, with including clauses that we didn't see much before, but they are exercised very well these days, is waiving inspections and limited only for basics, back to basics, Girish, the foundation as well as the environmental. That's it. All the rest, the buyer is willing to take the house as is. And another clause that they're waiving is the appraisal. So basically, a lot of people come in with a lot of down payment, and they're technically saying, I will buy the house regardless what the appraisal will appraise the house. And that's very, very strong buyers. That means that they have money on the side to cover the appraisal.
So you didn't see that last year at all. Is this a new behavior from this year?
No, it was here last year, but it's way more. I would say become like a trend. Last year we saw it not on every deal, and this year it's becoming like almost the norm of making business in our area. It's like almost all the buyers understand that they have to go with those two terms to make the deal happen their ways. Everybody realized that they are not the only buyers out there. There is so many, you know, other people competing on the same product. They coming with these ideas as already planted in their mind, already set in their mind, and then they are writing it on a paper and follow that all the way to the closing.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you again, Ofir. So now regarding the rentals, has rental also has gone up now, or is it pretty much what it was last year?
No, they went up a lot. I'll give you
Hmm.
another example on a rental. We
Hmm.
put a listing on the market for rental, and again, we had a bidding war with about 28 offers on a rental. That's something we never seen before, such an amount of people who's coming for the rental. The reasons is number one, the property prices went up. So, investors and people who hold real estate understand that they must collect more rent to make it more economics. Second is the understanding that the landlord has to take care of the property, which means, if there is repairs, changes. So, for example, if a roof on a small property used to be $3,000, it's become $6,000. So the landlord understand, and that goes for the water heater, other things that can go wrong in the house, windows, whatever it is that can go wrong in the house. The prices went high with the inflation, as we all understand, and the labor cost. So the landlords must have some cushion on, you know, repairs in the future, and of course that's bringing the rental higher.
Yeah, so thank you again. So now we see the comparison between the mortgages and the rentals and how that's dynamics have changed. So thank you again because I wanted to see the comparison between last year. So now the question is that what is the new trend that you're looking at nowadays when it comes to real estate?
The trend is that people looking for uh, any newer space they can get. So my advice is to the sellers is in this point, uh, since we have still a very low interest rates, the buyers will like to push everything they can into the mortgage and get the place as much as possible upgrade to their needs. So they will pay more to the upgrades than before because they realize number one is the cost, number two is the time, and the cost of the materials as well. So if you're buying a place that you need to rehab or redo the kitchen, let's say for example, it costs you much more, and then people have to put the money out of pocket. So in these days, they're looking for if it's already been done to them and it's suitable for their needs and of course aesthetics. They will pay more money for it because they're getting it already set and done. They put it on a mortgage, which the interest rate is very low, and they will be very happy to pay you more on the things that you did and enjoy it from day one in the house.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you again. So Ofir, here's a question because I remember talking about this last year. If you're upgrading your house and you're not going to get much investment back, meaning that you just want to do minimum upgrades, which is bathroom, kitchens, and and the basic stuff, right? And that's where your return comes in. Now it looks like that we're adding more stuff. Do you think that we're going to get the value back, or is that where the prices are going up now?
Yeah, you're definitely going to get the value back. You have more competition on totally, let's put it this way, upgraded house. You will have way more competition, which drive the price higher. So, the asking price is not anymore the price you're getting for the house as a seller. The asking price is a guidance what to go above it and not under.
So basically, you're telling me that I can put a lot of money and upgrade as much as I can in a nice, luxurious way versus last year that we used to think back in the days we used to think that too much is just not good because there's just not enough return. Now the it's kind of opposite now, isn't it?
I would definitely defer it between the properties because luxurious is maybe luxurious is something that you maybe push too much the envelope, and that's something that I would recommend people to consult with us, and we'll give you the right guidance. If to put that money or not, because sometimes you put the luxurious in the property that doesn't support it, and that would be like overkill. So I would say that consult with us. I would be very happy to help people if they call me to give them the advice. They don't have to use me if they don't want. It doesn't matter, but still to look after their money and what they want to do. And we're achieving great success by giving the right advice of what material to use, what paint to use, what kind of finishes to use and styles that very very popular today. And then it will make the property goes much better and shows better than something that you may think it's so luxurious and you put the money there, but the buyers of today doesn't really see it. So we're bringing from the field the value of what the uh, buyer see as a value, and then we'll match it with your expectations of what to put in the house, and of course the pocket. So that's going to be economics of not spending too much, but spending the right amount, making it good.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you again, Ophir, for that. And it looks like you explained to us what the trend is for this year. So what are your thoughts for next year? What do you think it's going to happen?
So geopolitical, we are in a spin right now, and whatever happened in Europe over there, with Russia aggression and other things that's not helping everybody to foresee very much into the future where we're going. Um, we see inflation, and that's something that going to make an impact. Traditionally, when there is inflation, the real estate market is strong. It's your safe haven. A lot of people go to the real estate market. They would like to hold the property. Going down stock market, shaking the assets that people have, and they traditionally like to hold something, and that's doesn't go anywhere. So when they buy a house, either for rental, for themselves, for investment, they will buy and enjoy knowing it's there and it doesn't go anywhere. Real estate can go down. We know that. We saw it in the past, but somehow it's always come back and stronger than before. And when you build your investment into real estate and a return, if your property is beautiful and you're taking care of it, you can always be renting it and get some of your return back, and then you have also a safe income. So it's one of the ways to protect yourself from inflation, which we also very much aware of. and protect your assets in this point.
Yeah, so thank you again, Ophir, for, let me ask you this question here. Now that the prices are going up, it gives a chance for the seller to sell in a great price. Now the
Correct.
problem is that when they go to the new house, it's kind of catch 22, isn't it? And then on top of that, the second part is that when they're selling the house and going to rental, it's higher than the mortgage monthly. So what do we do then? What are your thoughts on that? I mean, you gave an example of upgrading the house and making more extra, but you think that's the way to do it instead of or just wait? What are your thoughts on that?
So if I had the crystal ball, I definitely will give way better vision, which I don't. I can
Mm,
only give what we see, and I can foresee from the action that's currently happening. You're
mm,
absolutely right on your question. If you are a seller who wants to sell your home and buy something bigger, you're basically giving up your home and going into the competition with others for something bigger. If you are the seller who wants to sell your home and to go for something smaller, you want to downsize, kids are already left the house, you need less space, you're in competition with people who's going on a smaller place. So it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to be in a competition. I have a fully confident, as we did it all these years, including this year, I'm moving people from a smaller place to a bigger place, and I'm moving people from a bigger place to a smaller place, and there is a lot of moving parts with it. It's very important how your agent represent you and what's the process that has been done. And strong hands can get you very safe from one place to another. And you experience it yourself. We did it with you many years ago when I moved you from your townhome to your beautiful house, and we had to do that in the right, safe hands from selling and getting the proceeds from the townhome and giving you one step of a move to a single family. And that's very, very important that you don't have to be in between. So those things are still doable. It depends who represent you. It depends on the strong hands that you have to take in that position and to make sure that you check mark all the things on the sale that will be very firm to take you to the next level. But yes, your question is absolutely right. You are going into competition, but it still doesn't stop people from doing it because if you need to go for a bigger place because thank God the family grow up or you're in a better financial situation, you want to do it. You move, you go, you pick up somebody who can, lead you and guide you and make you all the safe to go to the direction. And the same if you need to go to downsize. Now you're paying, so much taxes on a big house that nobody use. You're doing the same thing and you're moving to the smaller place. So going down is actually easier than going up because when you're going down, you sell for high, you buy for a little bit cheaper. When you're going up, you have to have some money ready for the bidding war and competition that will drive it even higher than you thought.
yeah, Ophir, thank you again. Earlier during the episode, you mentioned that you had a lot of people on the open house, so which means that they're going into the house, and taking a look at it. Last year, if I remember, we were doing more virtual and more pictures, right? Do you think people are still comfortable to get into the house nowadays? Or do you think a second part is, do you think the new generation they are looking for virtual versus getting into the house? What are your thoughts on that?
So we talked about it last year as well. Last year we had more of a virtual of people, screaming, screening more houses on the virtual, and then decided to go to see one or two. This year is more of let me see that physically, and people are tired. People want to get out of the houses already, and you see it in restaurants, you see it in everywhere else. So they may go shopping for the house much more than they look at the virtual tours because they really want to see the house. And remember, even last year, people screen and look in virtual tours, but before they're making an offer, they made an appointment to see the house. Because as we spoke last year, you cannot feel the house unless you're there. And that's my recommendation. Do not buy without seeing it. You walk into a place, one place looks so good in the pictures, so good in the videos, and maybe even touched left and right to make the grass greener, or who knows what. And you're going into the house and you say, "This is not my home. My home should be feel different." And I always tell people when I'm showing them the house, can you imagine your family living here? Can you imagine yourself staying here? And if the answer is yes, then we're going to go for it. If the answer is I don't know, I don't feel the house, why you want to put an offer on something you don't feel it as your home? We're not talking about, I bought a car, I really don't like it. In 2 years, it's okay. We're talking about a place that you have to put your head to sleep, hang your hat, feeling your family over there, school surroundings, neighborhood, communities. You have to feel the secure. Do not buy a house in the internet without seeing it. It's not safe for yourself. You may regret it later.
Of course, Ofir. And one last question. Now we're getting into the virtual world, and we were talking offline. We were talking about the metaverse. What are your thoughts on the metaverse? Because now people, Gen Zs, are thinking, and Gen Ys, they are thinking more virtual nowadays, right? And they're getting to that virtual thing. And I understand your answer is that they still need a house. But what are your thoughts on the new virtual land and the virtual houses that you can just build on top of the regular house that you live in? What are your thoughts on that?
It's another tool of investment. It's like crypto. It's like NFT. It's another tool of investment, which you like or not. It's the new GM and GE of the world. Is that we're selling land on virtual, and people like it. People like it, and I would not judge anybody for their investment. I would not give an advice for that kind of investment. That's not what I am here for. I can only enjoy that my industry is so popular that people started to do things visionary and imaginary and build a world of. So it's definitely making our real estate more firm, more strong, more significant. That people take it to the imaginary world, and for the investor who want to do that, you need to check on yourself what you're doing, how you're doing. It may be popular today, maybe more popular tomorrow. I do not know myself what is the reality with that kind of a tool. It's something interesting. It's something fresh. I like that thinking. It's very interesting. But I would say for diversification, put real estate as part of your biggest investment. In my opinion, I did it for myself and my family, and it worked very well. That, you know, when things are changing and you wake up in the morning and see your stock market, your portfolio, your 401k, oh, what's happened over here? It dropped. And it's a few days like this that you're feeling like what you know, feeling for the last, couple of weeks over here since the whole saga started in Europe. Then you look at your real estate and say, "Oh, thank God I have this. Thank God it's something that I can go visit and it's mine and it's paying me rent." So I would very much approach people to hold real estate because it works for me and I know it's here to stay. Other tools, God bless, it's beautiful. I think it's very interesting, and I think your thinking is very, very good because you're bringing it together, the two worlds, and you're asking me how do I feel about this two world mix, but it's they mix in one way, they meet in one way, but they totally separate in the other way.
Yeah, Ophir, thank you again for explaining that, and thank you for being here. But before you leave today, do you have any last words for all my listeners and my viewers? And what are your thoughts on Back to Basics Part Two of you being here a second time now?
I love it. I love the technology. We are now sitting in two different houses and having this recording, and it's beautiful. I love what you do. I love the questions that you really try to help the people who are thinking about making any kind of a move, any kind of a thinking. My suggestions are open to the public. They can call me anytime on my cell phone. They can find me. It's very easy. Uh, I love what you do to the public in the area. We are in a very, very healthy market. In my market, it's very exciting to be for 2022 to be like this. Making 2021 was a breaking year for us. We sold out of this world amount of properties, and we made a lot of sellers and buyers very happy, and that's our goal. And 2022 is going to be amazing. We're looking forward to think orange, think sold, and making things significant to the people who we touch, and they touch us for sure.
Yeah, yeah, Ofir. Thank you again for being here and supporting me for the second time. And we have been supporting each other for many years, so this is not the end of us of not talking. So thank you again and supporting us. And I'll see you next year on Back to Basics for season 3.
It will be my pleasure as always, and I looking forward to see you in between on a private as we always do.
Of course, of course. Take care. God bless.
Thank you very much.
So, guys, we spoke with Ofir today on Back to Basics, and we talked about the basics of real estate and what real estate is all about when it comes to the virtual world and reality world. Yes, we are in a fix between the two worlds, but you know what? You make that decision, whatever works for you. But we can only tell you what we know from our experiences for many, many years. Yes, there are some few things that maybe you knew, but there are certain things that I did not know. For example, real estate is one thing that it gives you good investment for your family. The other is the rental goes up. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? You decide. How about that? Because that's your decision. Now, as usual, as always, there is a quote of the day from Back to Basics, and hopefully Ofir will like the quote of the day. The quote of the day is: "If you rent, the rent goes up every year, but if you buy 30-year mortgage, the cost is fixed." So, as usual, as always, what do I always say at the end of the episode? Everything in life goes back to basics, and that's what we did today, guys. Guys, take care. God bless. Keep on commenting on all my episodes, including this one. Please do look at the season 1 for Ofir, who has explained about how 2020 and 2021 comparison, and now we're doing comparison between 2021 and 22. So, guys, take care. God bless. Take care, and I will see you next time on Back to Basics. Next week's episode on Back to
For
Basics.
example, the rules, knowing what comes first in order to become better rankings than what you professionally do. You can't just start randomly and, just shoot your shot and go by year from there. No, I believe where you got to humbly start somewhere in order to get where you want to be
Hmm.
or more further on. I wouldn't say there's a final destination to what you do because every day you're learning something new.
Hmm.
Even if you're in the industry, whether it be 1 year, 5 year, 10 year, maybe even 20, somebody in the 20+ year industry is going to learn something new, something every day kind of thing. That's what I solemnly believe.